See, we have talked about electrical field and as well as the potential. So with this knowledge we can start one new chapter, that is capacitance of a system. So capacitance of a system means when we are taking two parallel plates, conducting plates like this, so these will form a capacitance. Okay, capacitors, this will form a capacitors like this. When we are giving charges to this one, like these plus charges, and we are adding here a battery and negative plates to this, so it what happen, it induces opposite charges to these plates, and hence this is forming a capacitance. This capacitance we can study in a way that when we are giving charges to a body, then what happens, the potential of the body is also increases. So Q varies as Q, that varies as V. Okay, so from that we can write Q equals to C into V. C is the constant of proportionality, and this is also known as the capacitance. So the ratio of the charge divided by voltage known as the capacitance of the system. Now how we can take it? So suppose if the capacitance, suppose we are giving charges, to a body, and that we are doubling the charges. So does it indicate the capacity will increase? Or else suppose we are tripling the voltage, does it indicate that the capacity will increase? No, it will remain same, because the capacitance of a capacitor increases or decreases, it remains same, because capacitance is not proportional to the voltage or charges. Capacitance is proportional to the geometric dimensions of the body. Okay, so it is independent of Q and V. This thing you should always remember, that with Q and V, if it is changed even, so capacitance will have no effect on that. Now we will be learning some certain simple thing that about the capacitors, that is 1 farad, that is the unit of capacitors, is equal to the 1 coulomb divided by 1 volt. So ratio of these things gives 1 farad, but it's a big unit, that's why we are making it reduced by 10 to the power 6, that is a microfarad, or 1 farad into 10 to the power 6. So 1 farad into 10 to the power minus 12, that is equal to 1 picofarad. So these things will be using in the numericals very often. So we are preparing ourselves to do some numericals. All these things will be requiring in that numericals. What is parallel plate capacitor, that we know. Suppose if you are giving charges to a parallel plates like that, we'll first find out the intensity. In any case, whenever you are finding out the capacitance, you'll have to find the intensity. Once electrical field, once you find the electrical field, you multiply with the distance, it will give you the voltage. Clear? That is V. So we can write that E equals to epsilon by A, E equal to epsilon A by D. How we can write it? We can write that E into D, that is equal to V. So we know that E is equal to the sigma by epsilon. So putting this value back here, we get sigma A by D. So this is the capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor. It is very common and you will find in all the textbooks. Now forces between two parallel plate of the capacitors. So how will we finding out the forces? We know that forces equal to charge into electrical field. So that we can write that Q, the charge in the electrical field is epsilon, electrical field is sigma divided by 2 epsilon. So we can write that Q divided by 2 epsilon sigma into E. Clear it is? So it is Q into epsilon by 2 sigma. So what we can write? We can write here, that is if the sigma equals to what? Sigma is the surface density charge, that is Q by A, area. So putting value all these things, we can get the force, that is equal to half Q into E. Clear it is? So we can just make the things like that, dash this, and we can find out the forces of a capacitor's plate. Clear? So now we'll be learning one thing, that is how we can. Now for doing the numericals, we should know one system, that is the Wheatstone bridge. Okay, this Wheatstone bridge always in all the cases forms with 4 hands like this. One will be like this, another like this, and we'll be giving the name A, B, C, D. In this Wheatstone bridge, we can set any impedance like of things. This is a capacitors, or else we can set resistance here. We'll be setting the resistance or capacitance in this way. So this is C1, this is C2, this is C3, this is C4. Now one condition will be always giving in this Wheatstone bridge, that is the potential between these two ends diagonally, B and C, is always equal to 0, always equal to each other. That is VB equals to VD. So what we are doing, diagonally opposite things, opposite ends, we are attaching with the battery. Clear? Here we can give a galvanometer, or else we can put a capacitors like this. So this is C1, this is C2, this is C3, this is C4. Now how we'll be writing it? We'll be writing VA minus VB. This is equal to, we'll be writing that Q1 by C1. Clear? So this is getting induced by minus charges. So this minus charge is borrowing from this plate, okay, as it is connected by a wire. So this is giving this plus, this minus charge as it is borrowed from here, so it will be plus Q. Okay, if my electrons are moving away, then what happens? It is becoming plus Q. So this is again minus Q. So we can write in this way. Again we can write the potential between VA minus V, this is D. So VD, that is equal to Q2 by C3 it is. Okay, VA minus VD, yes, VD, that is equal to Q2 by C3. So this charge also will be, here it has taken Q1, here it is taken Q2. So Q1 plus Q2 equals to total charge supplied by the battery. Clear? It is getting divided here. Now this Q2 charge will induce again plus Q1 here and minus Q1 here. All these things we are adding. So Q1 plus Q2 is given here. Q1 plus Q2 is given by the battery, and it goes back here minus Q1 plus minus Q2. So these all cancels. So it is becoming 0. So it is what it is maintaining the conservation of charges. Clear? So in this way we can write in these things. So we have already written these things, and for these ends and these ends also, these ends B and C, we can write the similar expressions. We can write that VB minus VC, this is equal to Q1 by C2. Again we can write VA minus VD, that is equal to Q2 VA minus VD, yes, Q2 by C3. Again we can write VD minus VC equals to Q2 by C4. Now you see we have taken VB and VD same. So we can replace this D here, we can take this D here, correct? Instead of B we can write here D. So what happens here? We can change this B to D. So what will be getting? You can understand, no? We have changed this place to this because this is of same potential. So instead of writing B, we can write here D. So you see this B becomes D now. So we get a relation, that is Q1 by C1, that must be equal to the Q2 by C3, and in the similar way we can write for these ends also in the same way. So it will be Q2 by C2, that is equal to Q1, this we have written Q1 by C2, that is Q2 by C4. So from this relation, taking the relation of Q1 and Q2, we can write C1 by C2 equals to C3 by C4. Clear? This is the condition for the equivalence. This is the condition for the balance Wheatstone bridge. So in this way we can find the balancing of the Wheatstone bridge. Thank you, student. I feel you have understood these things of the Wheatstone bridge.